Hello and welcome to the EML F1 Season 8 Championship. Today you join us for round 7. The 58.3333 reoccurring percent race of the season takes us 4,134 miles from the Hungaroring and 0 miles from Montreal. Yes, we are in Canada at the circuit Gilles de Villeneuve. This 2.710 mile long circuit is right smack bang in the centre of the city with 3 DRS zones, making overtaking opportunities aplenty, such as into turn 6, turn 10 and turn 13, but there are plenty of other places such as turn 8 as well. Turn 1 isn't too bad of a spot either. Right, let's have a quick look at some of the other stuff that are involved this season, including the championship standings. As you can see, the Evolution Racing team up at the top with 154 points, with Alien Motorsport second in with 127 points. QSL Esport bringing up the rear with 118. F1 AF with 102 points. And Esports PEC rounding out your top 5 with 74. 56 points for Deluxe Esports. XR8 Esports have 50. FRC are on 49 points, and Xbox Pro Gamers are on 40 points, with ERS unfortunately bringing up the rear with 3 points. But I believe we have found a replacement for the team, so hopefully we'll see the Ferraris in action later tonight. Our driver lineup for this evening is Alberto in DLX with Antonio G's alongside. However, in the Mercedes, we have Noban and Shanks. Again, some old names coming back. Willow and Pez, or we'll just call him Leo, are in the McLaren. Liagos and CRA are both the Ferraris, representing the HRT team, who are taking over from ERS and formerly Sierra as well. XPG in the Aston Martins are hosting Bourbon Boy and Brushy Pancakes, while AMS are running Ramen and Knight. F1 AF run Alice F1 and Jerem, while XR8 is a no-show tonight. Alex Linares and Lacey line up with PEC, as well as Kart and Gabza for QSL. Now, if it's your first time joining us, we have a 12-round championship, and you can join us right in the centre. We've just come off a 1-week break, so we left off at the Hungaroring last time. I've almost said last week. It was 2 weeks ago. And today we are at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Canada, and we have another 5 rounds to go after tonight. In terms of points, how they all work, it is slightly different from how F1 teams, well, sorry, not how F1 teams, how F1 does it. They have 25 points for the race winner, but we only have 22. 18 points for P2 and 15 points for P3 round out your podium positions, while P4 gets 12 points and P5 11 points. And from there on, it's only a 1-point difference per position, so that means your top 15 score. Add in an extra point for pole position and the fastest lap, and you have a very tightly contested championship indeed. But enough talking, let's get down to the track. And there we go. Let's get this menu up and running. Full track map and lap data enabled. And I'm not going to lie, I have turned up the volume way too loud. Brushy Pancakes in the Aston Martin has unfortunately invalidated his lap time already. Liagos for the HRT squad now on a flying lap to set the first qualifying lap for the team this season. ERS were racing a few races, but unfortunately they pulled out round 3. Round 4, Sierra tried stepping in, doing something, but didn't show up to the next race, and we didn't have a Ferrari on the grid last time round in Hungaroring for round 6, but we finally see one back out on track in Liagos and CRA, so we'll have to wait and see what their pace is like compared to the rest of the grid. Alex Linares sets the fastest lap time for XR8, which I swear is not supposed to be happening, or I just missed something. But the RBs are back out on circuit. Well, one of them is at least. And we've seen Kieran excel in one of these cars before. In fact, they took the race win at Silverstone not too long ago. However, their success has been rather limited otherwise. They were decent in qualifying at Monaco, but again, yeah, there just wasn't anything else for them as such. Other teams to watch out for during qualifying though. QSL are fairly decent. They've had some good results in the past. Their qualifying pace, it's alright. It's okay. Gabza is a driver to watch out for when it comes to the race. He's been very potent. He's been great. He's been winning races. He's got podiums. This is a driver who really excels out here. We also have... sorry, just need to find him. Sorry, my thing was going weird there. ATX James for Evolution Racing Team. Now, interesting thing. Evolution Racing Team were the powerhouse of qualifying. They were setting quali pole position laps 4 weeks in a row, 5 weeks in a row, and then the Alien Motorsport cars stepped in at Monaco and Hungaroring in round 5 and 6 to take pole position there. So for EVR, it's a case of regaining that streak, getting that streak going again, so they can get to that five qualifying pole streak, if you will. While for AMS, for Alien Motorsport, it's about getting that third pole in a row and keep the momentum going. Now, both EVR drivers are new to the championship, or I haven't seen them in action in this championship yet. Ollie last week took the race win for EVR, as well as Exotic Planes setting the fastest lap during the race, so a decent haul of points for them, and that keeps them at the top of the championship. But of course AMS isn't far off. Alien Motorsport tonight hosting Ramon and Knight. Knight is a familiar name. We've seen him in action before, and in fact he took a podium last week at the Hungaroring as well. In the race before that, he actually took a race win. So for Knight, this could be his third podium in a row. This could be the hat trick. And if it's a pole position, it's gonna be a hat trick of poles as well. Ramon, I'm sure he'll be doing his best as well. Yes, Eric Deperick, I'm watching out for Ramon. And he's already got a prediction on who will win. Who is Unk? I don't see an Unk here, unless I'm just dangerously blind. However, one thing that isn't blind is Brushy Pancake's pace around here in the Aston Martin. The XPG car has also seen some pace early on in the season, but unfortunately they've dropped off a little bit. And there we go, EVR with a very good time indeed, taking pole position, a 108.4. Here is Ramon though, coming to the pits. I thought he was going to set another lap, but no, he has decided to opt out of that. Knight though will be one of the drivers to keep an eye on. He is making his way into the third sector now, so he should start setting some laps soon. And again, this is one of those drivers to watch out for. PEC are apparently supposed to turn up tonight, but I don't see either one of their cars, and they've also been very competitive this season. But unfortunately, recently, yeah, it's been a bit rough without Red Flame Joe. Red Flame Joe, right at the start of the season, he was absolutely flying. He was giving us podiums and race wins left, right and centre. And ever since then, it's kind of dropped off a little. Lacey stepped in to help out, but not quite managing to keep it up. But, you know, I'm sure they'll be giving it their best. Knight comes across the line to start his flying laps. We'll keep an eye on his lap. Who else can we talk about? We've got the F1 AF cars of Bibben and Jerem. And they've been fairly consistent in their results. The only driver that's managed to score them some podiums is the Grandada, though. I'm not going to lie. These guys have been more of a support role, so it'll be a bit tough for them, I can imagine. And they're down in P9 and 10, so unfortunately that is already showing. But again, anything can happen in the race. There's a lot of contradictions. I know I just said but about 15 times. But, you know, we'll have to wait and see how it goes. Knight about to set his first lap, so we can't actually see, but it looks as though he set a purple second sector. Could this translate into a top 5 lap? Could this result in a top 3? Could this result in pole position? Could this be provisional pole for the AMS car? Let's see. The Wall of Champions across the line in a few moments. Where will this put Knight? Across the line, and that is good enough for P3. Domon out on a lap. James also on an out lap. I think we saw James in action 2 weeks ago at Monaco. Unless that was KJ. I think there was KJ and Ollie. Unfortunately, there's just way too much data and way too much stuff that I could look at if I were to get all of it. And unfortunately, my screen is only this bit. Well, screens, I'm using 3 already, so it's a bit full at the moment. But ATX James down in P9. Yeah, he's been pushed down a little bit from where he was before, but I'm sure he's going to be pushing hard to get a better lap time. However, Ramon will be the first to come across. Again, this rivalry between AMS and AVR already kicking off in qualifying. Leo taking provisional pole, Knight not far behind in P3, and actually Liagos, I just noticed, took P2 for HRT. They're showing some good pace. Kra down in P9. 109.3, he's on an out lap, still plenty of opportunity to set a better lap time. Ramon though, half a second up on his time. Where will that put him coming out of the second sector? Half a second, that would put him up in P8. Can he improve his final sector though? Well, let's wait and see yet again. Powering down the back straight, the long 1 kilometer long stretch. Let's see how his final corner goes. Turn in, exit. Does he hit the Wall of Champions? No, he keeps it clean, but will that have compromised his exit across the line? Here it comes, and it's P4 for the Alpine. 2 Alpines in P3 and P4 lining up on the second row of the grid. James will be the next car of interest across the line. He's just coming off the hairpin, and he set the second sector fastest lap time. We do have a few more cars coming across the line. We've got Kart, who suddenly takes P2 for QSL. Gabza will be looking to replicate that success, and he is actually just ahead of James. We'll follow him in just a second, but James out the final corner. What can he do? P12 at the moment. Where will he go? He goes up to P11. Unfortunately, nothing much for the McLaren, but for the Haas, let's go on board and get a feel for the circuit. So here we go through turns 3 and 4. Watch out for that wall to the right, through the long right-hander of turn 5 into turn 6 and 7. Not really too much of an overtaking opportunity as such, but if you decide to go for a late lunge, that's also possible. Down the DRS straight for turn 8 and then turn 9, turn 8 and then turn 9. There we go, another chicane, hard braking through the long left-hander into Pengel, turn 10, the hairpin, one of the most well-known overtaking opportunities. You can see him absolutely sending the car into that right-hander, locking up the fronts. I can get you're trying to get as much mid-corner speed as possible, but that doesn't quite seem the most... I don't know, I don't think that works as well as it should. Turn 13 and 14, they're all the champions now across the line. Alex Linares takes pole position for XR8. Now across the line, Gabza up there alongside Kart for P3 and absolutely sending it through this circuit is Gabza. I mean, well, apparently that technique works. Adam saying Unk is cooking. I'm guessing they're talking about Alex. I've no clue. Unless it's his Discord name. In which case, I wouldn't know because I haven't actually seen him out on the track. So, yeah, I don't know. Oh. Don't take screenshots. Because that's not what we're here to do. We're here to watch the racing. Knight through the first sector. He's down in P6 and P7. We only have 3.5 minutes of qualifying left. And I did actually fail to explain to some of you who might be new what the format is for this evening. It's a short qualifying session, so 17 or 18 minutes, followed by a half race length race. I know it sounds a bit funny to say it, but a half race distance, yeah, you could say half race distance race. No, there we go, same thing. You're repeating race anyways. But Knight will be looking to repeat his performance from last time and the time before that. Is this going to be 3 pole positions for the Alpine in a row? Is this going to be a hat-trick for Knight as he comes into the Wall of Champions corner, turns 13 and 14, using absolutely every inch of the track across the line? What can he do? Can he take pole? He is just shy. 300 separating him and Linares, the XR8, the RB, doing very well to stay up at the top of this field. Jerem down in P10 in the Williams. He's already up half a second from his first sector best lap. Can he improve? We do have a few cars coming out of the pits now, potentially for the final time this evening. Can he believe it? We're almost at the end of qualifying for round 7, and yeah, everything's just been, it's not been kinetic, but there's constantly been movement. I'll say it that way. Things have constantly been moving. Kra has yet to set a decent lap time. James and Bibbin, I'm guessing just poor performance, unfortunately, just not able to set those faster lap times yet. But again, that last lap is usually a make or break. It's usually either your fastest lap or it's going to be your slowest lap. Knight will have to come into the pits at some point, so that might be his qualifying over, unless he's put a little extra fuel into the tank and decided to play a little bit of strategy into qualifying. James is just coming around the first corner. I'm just trying to see where our main championship contenders are. Brushy Pancake seemed fairly decent in the first couple minutes of qualifying, and he'll barely be able to make it past the start line to set his final lap, but as far as I'm concerned, that's a perfect strategy. Knight has just come into the pits, so unfortunately that is the end of qualifying for Knight, unable to get that 3rd pole position for Alpine, but their hopes can still rest on Ramon, who's just coming down the main straight now. ATX James will be the first of the EVR cars to come across the line to set his final pole position lap time, but he hasn't validated it, so either he will pull into the pits now or he will do another one, but he'll have had to fuel his car up properly for that, or he'll have to just not pull into the pits. He is warming up his tyres by the looks of things, so yeah, not quite finished there. Leo is the other EVR car now coming across the line, 2/10 up on his first sector. This could be pole position for EVR. Could they be back on top in their winning form during qualifying? Just enough room left between himself and the wall across the line, and it is pole position for Leo in the EVR, in the McLaren. Can Linares do anything? He is quite a ways back. Gabza and Kart will be a few cars to keep an eye on. Brushy Pancake not really able to improve much. Can Shanks or Nobin do anything as they come across the line? Nothing there, but we do have a few other cars to come across, including Kra, who will come across first. Where will he come out? Qualifying is officially over, so any cars that come across the line now will be completing their qualifying, and unfortunately Kra cannot improve. Liagos is locked in P6 at best. QSL, Kart and Gabza are 2 cars that we need to watch out for, both in P4 and P5. Can they improve? Here comes Kart across the line. It is P3 for him. Where can Gabza go? Well, he's going to be a long way away. James will be coming across the line for the last time. Can he improve? Can he get up to the top 5? Can he get into the top 10? He barely makes it outside the top 5. It's top 6 for him. And Alex Linares comes across to take pole position. Wow. Final shot at pole position, and Gabza takes it as well. Oh my goodness, these final couple drivers coming across the line to take pole position, and at the end of it Gabza comes out on top, and I believe that is the first time we have a QSL qualifying on pole position. Impressive stuff. Gabza will be starting the race from the front row of the grid, and we've seen the stuff he can do from further back. I'm sure he's going to have an absolutely incredible race out front. Wow. So as we wind down, Linares and Leo were fighting very hard for that pole position, and suddenly Gabza comes out of the blue to take provisional pole, and now real pole position. And there we go, not quite a kinetic session, but one with plenty of movement indeed. We saw about 5 to 6 different cars vie for pole position, but at the end of the day, Gabza took pole position with Alex Inares in P2 and Leo P3. Join us in just a few moments for the start of the race, 35 laps, so grab yourself a snack, grab yourself a drink. It's gonna be hot and intense. See you boys in a second. welcome back to the EML F1 Season 8 Championship, and today you join us for round 7 here in Montreal, Canada, and we are 4,000 miles from where we were 2 weeks ago at the Hungaroring. But things haven't changed. We still have the rivalry kicking off between EVR and AMS, with Knight going up against some of the other new boys over at EVR with the support of his new teammate Ramon. However, PEC managed to take P1 pole position. Here we go, lights out. And it's go time. 17 cars go roaring down to turn 1 to start 35 laps of racing. And the QSL car is defending from PEC right from the get-go and managed to hold on to P1. But he's got the EVR not far behind. Kart making some good moves down the inside, a little further back for P3. And he has almost got that done, but there is a bit of contact between them. And James is climbing up the order. And Kart is being absolutely demolished by these two orange cars. Knight and Ramon behind, the two Alpines not far behind either. They're going to be looking to get past this Frenchman at some point in their near future. But Gabza managed to hold on for quite a while there. Managed to hold on to P1 with Linares in P2. And the two McLarens of Leo and James up to P3 and P4. Kart holding on to P5 just about. But he's got Knight and Ramon not far behind. And they will be making some progress for sure. And there is a load of carnage going on down there, loads of tyre smoke, loads of all sorts of things going on down there. I can't quite see what's happening down by the hairpin, but I saw a Ferrari going sideways, and that is almost never a good sign when you're trying to take care of your tyres. Now, these drivers have to make one pit stop at least this race to make their tyres last, but Linares is going down the inside into turn 1, and he's got that move done. Sorry, it happened so quick. He got alongside so fast into the final couple corners. Now it's a cut back for Gabza. Can he get it into turn 3? Not quite, and he has to fall back. There is a caution in sector 3. I think there's a car stopped on the main straight, so we could see a safety car pull out at some point in the near future if he doesn't get moving again. It does seem as though he is moving, so that is at least one catastrophe averted. But for Linares, he's managed to make that position. Can Gabza now respond on the next back straight? And he needs to keep Leo and James in mind behind as well. They're going to be working together to try and get up into P2 and P3, get both cars into the podium positions, potentially even start fighting for the race lead. And you can see how close they are on the exit. Gabza and Linares as well as Leo making contact bumper to bumper as they come across the timing board for sector 3. Oh, and Gabza, I think this is going to be the risky bit for him. He's got a McLaren behind him, but he's got the PEC not far ahead either. And he is at least safer now. Can he make a move into turn 1? Looks to the outside, and there we go, cut back to the inside, but there's nothing there, and he has to pull back. Knight apparently doing some great stuff down in P6, and Noban has retired from the session, as well as Liargos. Liargos had a brilliant qualifying session, but is now right at the bottom, and he has retired. Oh my goodness, that's not good. And Pancakes and Shanks get 3-second time penalties. Ay, not a good start for the drivers further down the grid. P9 and P10 both got penalties. Further back, we've got a battle on between Knight and Kart. And again, there's a Sector 1 caution. I don't know what's happening there. All I know is it's tight between Jerem and Ramon heading into the hairpin. That right-hander out onto the main straight. Kart is also one to keep an eye on, but so is Gabza. He's looking for that P1 position. He wants the race lead back, but so does Leo, who cuts back behind Gabza, gets the momentum. They've both got the slipstream, and Leo also takes P2 away from Linares. Linares goes from P1 to P3 in the course of just a single straight, and Gabza is now your new race leader, and he has got Leo right behind him. James will also be looking for that final podium position. Linares could be filtered out of the top 3 completely here, but it's alongside for Leo and Gabza into turn 3. It's going to be tight, so Leo backs out. He's not going to take that risk, and it is wise that you play it safe through the first couple laps of the race. So maybe another 5 laps. Oh, Linares had some good braking into that left-hander. Sorry, I just thought for a second he was going to absolutely plow into his rear end. And penalties are just flowing in. Penalties coming left, right, and centre. Bibin and Alberto both with penalties as well, down in P13 and P14. Now, this top 6 are very closely matched coming into the hairpin. Oh my goodness, and there's a move from Cart down the inside. Brilliant little lunge from the Haas. Can he keep it alongside as they go down the straight? They're going to have the DRS, but further up the grid, so will Leo. Going into the final corner, could this be a race lead taken away from Gabza for yet another time in this race? We've also got Cart and Knight that just swapped positions, so Knight maintaining his position ahead of Cart at the end of the day. And across the timing line we go. Lap 5 complete. Let's see how the rest of the race goes. Again, it's a wide exit for Gabza. Does he keep the momentum going? It's a less distance to cover if you come to the inside of that corner. Of course, the next one is going to be even tighter, so you need to beware for that. And now that initial excitement has somewhat calmed down, Bibbin and Kra, though, could be having a fight on their hands very soon. Bibbin in the Williams right up behind the Ferrari, and it's the first time we see the red of a Ferrari in about 3 weeks, so it'll be nice to see Kra make some progress up the field. But unfortunately, that is where he qualified throughout the entire session. He did not manage to set a faster lap time. However, we now go out onto the main straight, or should I say the back straight, over 1 kilometre of road here. 1 kilometre for Leo to make a difference, and he is using that slipstream and the DRS to make that difference stick, and he has taken the race lead away from Gabza. Gabza loses the race lead yet again for the second time this evening after having regained it from Linares, and Leo slipping through in the process. Oh, and in the background we also have Linares on the inside for turn 1. Having a look, the door was open, might as well take it. And unfortunately, he does not manage to make his way past. For Gabza, though, it is fortunate because he is still behind that McLaren and not behind a green car. That would have been 2 cars to go through if he wanted the race lead. James, as always, just sitting in the background, just waiting for a mistake to happen, waiting to take that 3rd podium position. Knight in P5, looking to correct his mistake from not qualifying on pole position earlier. He's looking for the 3rd podium in a row for AMS. It's actually potentially a 5th podium of the season in a row for EVR if they can pull this off. Leo in the race lead. He's not doing too badly, and James, he's also a guy just waiting in the wings to take another podium position. Out onto the back straight once more we go. Where will the DRS kick in? It's kicked in quite late for Gabza. Will it kick in for Linares in time for the corner? No, it won't. Gabza retakes the race lead and he's back up into P1, but Leo is really close behind him on the exit. Here we go into the next corner, and James going round the outside for P3, but unfortunately hasn't quite managed to keep that position, and Linares barely hanging on to that final podium spot. Here we go out onto turn 7, 8 and 9. We have yet another opportunity on the straight. It feels like one of those circuits where the only opportunities really, or the only movement that we really see are on the main straight, but of course there are still plenty of opportunities for these guys to prove us wrong. Out onto the main straight we go. Leo once again in with a good shot at taking the race lead. Linares under threat from James potentially. And Leo has got the DRS kicking in quite late. It's going to be side by side into turn 13. No, he has to back out. But can he carry that momentum through into the next corner? Well, Linares has done a great job of doing that himself. Can he take P2 away from the McLaren? Not this time round. We haven't really seen too many moves into turn 1 yet, but that is a potential opportunity there as well. I'm just having a look at the comments as well at the chat. I haven't formally agreed. Oh my goodness, hold up. Hold on to that thought. Brushy Pancakes just left the session. Noban has also left the session. So Noban left the track. Brushy Pancake for Aston Martin has retired. And Flame is the only Aston Martin out on track at the moment to take up that mantle. Oh, and it's close. James in the background, maybe making an error on the exit. Knight could potentially be looking at P4 here, with Cart not far behind again. Cart right up on the back end. But here we go, Leo once again within 3/10 of Gabza as they head out onto the straight. Will their exits be much different? Well, the DRS is kicked in for the EVR. Gabza does what he can to defend it. Lanara is going down the inside into turn 13. No, there was potential there. I thought potentially it could happen, but no, it didn't. Gabza actually having to go on the defensive. His exit was so terrible, and Linares takes P2 away from him. Is it going to be the McLaren down the inside for turn 3? Yes, it is, and he forces his way past. It's still not over yet. They're still side by side out of turn 2. It's going to be a tight squeeze into turn 3. Gabza still on the inside. Can he defend from that McLaren? They go side by side through turn 3, and there's contact once more. And the McLaren has to cut across the grass. And now it is a four-way fight for the final podium position between two QSL cars, an AMS and an EVR. And that has gone very wrong indeed for both James and Gabza. Gabza managing to just about hold on to a final podium position, but James, he was P4. He's lost out on 2 positions. If he just stayed patient, oh my goodness, and there's a car across the track, and that's Cart. He's lost out. Cart into P6 he goes, and he's lost that position and potentially a front wing as well. Oh my goodness, things just suddenly exploded as Gabza's momentum was broken into the next corner, and it's again broken on the main straight. Now Knight comes across to take P3, and we now have Leo, Linares and Knight leading the race. Our top 3 suddenly getting shuffled around, and including a new driver in the lineup. And further back, Cart gets overtaken. Oh, actually, Cart is fighting back. Cart gets back past James. There must have been something that happened to James at turn 1. That's what happened to Gabza. Just a little bit of momentum breaking down can lead to stuff like this. So he lost out to Linares, and then an opportunistic dive from James. He could have just stayed patient. Yes, I know he's not making any positions right now, but if he just stayed just a little bit more patient, he could have gotten it done. And Leo and Linares actually switched places. Oh my goodness, then that's into turn 8. Wow. So as they came out under the bridge, they made a move. So Linares now takes P1, and Leo in P2. Knight catches up right up to the back of that orange car ahead, and he's going to be involved in this fight as well. 2/10 to Linares is the EVR. Going on board, he's got the DRS, and the PEC is staying all the way over to the side to try and defend into turn 13, but ultimately there's nothing he can do. Pulls back in, and Leo is our new race leader. Well, I say new, he's done this about 2 or 3 times this race already. Knight having to go on the offensive into turn 1 as Linares' momentum gets broken down, and Linares may be feeling the pressure because he's been involved in a lot of stuff tonight. Oh my goodness, and the other HRT car retires as well. Kra in P13 has retired from the session. We have 4 retirements at this point. That is not good. 4 retirements in a field of 17 cars. That means, though, for the remainder, they can score some decent points. The top 15 score points, remember. So it's not all bad. We do have a Sector 3 caution. Not sure exactly for who, but it is there. Again, Knight and Linares close. Leo just trying to keep it clean out in front, but again it's going to be the 2 cars behind with DRS. Let's see this from Knight's perspective. A little far back to be involved in this. Linares also quite far back, but he's got the momentum from the DRS. It's going to be a move into turn 13, and yes, he's just about got that move done and carries the momentum very nicely through the final corner, not colliding with the wall of champions, which has claimed so many very talented drivers indeed. Not tonight yet, though. I think we might see something happen eventually. But Bibbin now also gets a 3-second time penalty, and those are 6 cars with penalties. So again, penalties are going to play a huge role when it comes to the end of the race and when it comes to the pit stop phase, because yes, these drivers still need to make a pit stop, especially when they drive like that, locking up the left front tyre as is Linares. And typically, yeah, I don't know what the tyres strategy is going to be here. Actually, Adam Larkin, I only saw your message now, or actually only have the opportunity to comply with your request in terms of tyres. Here we go. Most drivers on hards, except for James, Antonio Jesus, and Brushy Pancakes. But of course, Brent, Brushy Pancakes unfortunately retired from the session, but we'll have to go back on with the action now as Leo is right up on Linares' back end, and so is Knight. There we go, Leo to the outside, Linares defending. It's 3 wide as Knight goes down the inside. Here we go, 3 wide into the final corner. Oh, and Knight has to pull back out. It was not an ideal scenario for him. Leo and Linares once again switch positions for the race lead, and Shanks and Ramon have also just swapped positions. P7 for Ramon in the other Alpine. They're not doing too badly this race. So are the QSL cars. Gabza in P4 with Kart in P5. Both are doing very well. Both cars in the top 5 will be scoring a decent haul of points. So will Leo and James actually for EVR as well. Wow. Little calm before the storm of the straights once again. And I only noticed that someone said if we hit 20 likes I will sing a song. I did not voluntarily agree to that, but if we do, I guess I will have to do it. Are the Aston Martins AI? I think one of them is, but not AI. Is the Knight of, well, actually the AMS of Knight going around the outside, and oh my goodness, it's phased right through the McLaren, and in the my brain can't even process what happened. Knight just went through Leo and got past Linares to take the race lead at the hairpin. And now that order is reversed. We've got Knight in P1, Leo P2, Linares P3. Once again, this battle for the race lead spicing up as they head into turn 1. Linares going down the inside for turn 1. Can he get it stopped? Yes, he can. And Linares now takes P2 away from Leo. Leo shattered. Leo absolutely gobsmacked by the fact he just got ghosted through by Knight, and now he has to play catch up once again, and he gets a 3-second time penalty. Now, a thing I said earlier about penalties playing a role at the end, they also play a role in the pit stops, because these penalties will be served in the pit stop box as well. They will have to stop for an extra 3 seconds if that's what their penalties are. Or penalty is, I guess, you know, grammatically speaking. Yeah, sorry, Maze, are the Aston Martins AI? One of them is, as far as I know. I think Brushy Pancake is AI. Flame? I don't think so. I didn't see anything about Flame. Something that might be sparking the flame in this battle, in this fiery battle for the race lead and the podium positions, is Knight not having the momentum as Linares and Leo both come roaring past into the final corner. Once again changing, oh my goodness, my migrating host, something has happened here. Liagos has just left the session. What has gone on here? Brief little ad break, potentially. What's happening? Give us just a few seconds, folks. Give us just a few moments. And there we go, we are back. Woof! Oh no, we're starting again. Oh well, interesting. Give us just a few moments to sort this out. Okay, ladies and gents, it seems as though the person hosting our lobby has unfortunately run into some issues, so we will have to restart the lobby essentially. But we will be restarting the race essentially from the 25% kind of percentage, well, halfway through essentially. So give us just a few moments. We'll get this lobby back up and running. In the meantime, though, I know Con 1 is starting up soon. Their stream, their race. So just give them a few moments, give us a few moments, and we'll get the racing back up and running in just a few moments. Again, apologies for the wait, ladies and gents. We are almost there. We're almost about to restart the race, and we'll be half the race distance of what we were doing originally. So technically now it's a 25% race, but we'll be picking it up from where we left off. Same order, DNFs of course. They're not able to join us. So join us in just a few seconds. We're almost there. Hello and welcome back to the EML F1 Season 8 Championship. Welcome back once again for the second time. And again, we apologise for the delay. We've again just had some sort of issue, but we're back up and running now. We're going to go 25% race length, and of course, the grid got all shaken up in the first quarter of the race, the first half of the race or so. So let's wait and see how the race start 2.0 goes. And we are purely waiting for the grid to finish readying up. We're waiting for the teams to finish their setups. We are waiting for the drivers to ready up. We are waiting for the green lights. And May's question about the Aston Martin AIs. Well, we'll find out now. We'll find out whether there are any left. And yeah, for those of you who have stuck around, thank you. We appreciate your patience once again. Time to break out those snacks again. Well, hopefully you've already restocked on them, so that now when we get the racing going, you're going to be ready to tuck in. And I myself, unfortunately, find myself without some. I had dinner just before, so I'm actually kind of full. Although there is a bar of dark caramel chocolate teasing me right in front of my eyes. But I must abstain for... well, yeah, I must abstain. It is for later. It is for something else. Adam Larkin, I will when I get the chance. I will when I get the chance. Unfortunately, when the race starts, everything's a bit frantic, and it's a bit hard to keep track of things when I'm having to do all these little bits and bobs at the same time. I can barely keep up with the action as it is, but the moment we get an opportunity, a decent opportunity, just like these guys off the start, looking for opportunities into the following corners, I'll get round to the tyres, don't you worry. I'm actually amazed Adam from Alien Motorsport didn't ask the same question, but I mean, you know, I guess if everyone wants it, hey ho. Even Stevens, as he pointed out a few weeks ago. But it is a long wait, isn't it? Well, one thing that I can't wait for is the action to start. Come on, let's go. I am very excited. I'm very excited, and as we get back into it, I can see we've got the viewers going again, 13 people watching now, and that claim earlier about the amount of likes that we had. If we get 20, apparently I'll be singing something, which I'm not sure is a good thing or a bad thing. I guess you guys will get to choose the song. And so if we do get it, start thinking about it. I only have a very limited knowledge in terms of music and stuff, but here we go, the lights come on. And it's go time. 14 cars go roaring down to turn 1 to start. 18 laps of racing, and it's been a decent start from Linares, defending the corner right from the get-go. Everyone just files in. Kart on the outside of Knight as they go round turn 2, and there's contact between them. I think there is a little bit of netcode going on here, a little bit of internet interference, but they all managed to make it through turn 2 just about alright. It might just be Knight, or it might be my connection that's gone haywire, but I think everyone's through there safe and sound. Even Flame in the background. The two QSL cars going side by side now through the rest of the corner. Kart going on the defensive. Gabza that falls back behind in P4. Leo is right up on the back end of that PEC heading into the hairpin. Could we see a move from the EVR? Is this going to be an opportunity to take the race lead really early on? Well, he's going to have to wait for the straight, and that is not going to be a bad chance at all. Oh my goodness, and there's contact between the Aston Martin and the Mercedes. In fact, there are two Aston Martins, so it seems as though those two are not AI. But here we go into turn 13, and it is very close between these two, but still no cigar to be had between them. No puff as they come out of the final corner for the first time, well, second time. They come out of the final corner to start the first lap of the second race, i.e. the restart, and everyone is pretty much in the order that they were before. Linares still in the race lead. Leo not far behind, once again looking to take the race lead, and Gabza in P4 is looking to make up those positions that he lost during the initial bit of the race, and pay no mind to the pit stops. Well, I mean, I don't know. We could see some pit stops. I'm not sure. It's going to be I don't think it'll be a stretch. I think these guys will be able to make those tyres last. Into turn 8, the McLaren did look to the inside. He did seem to come a little bit to the inside. He did seem to want a little look into the inside, see where the door was open, but there was no open door to be found there. No day of light. Here we go, out onto the main straight again. A kilometre to make a difference. Leo has had a good exit, and he's alongside already. By the time they reach the 500-metre mark, and he's gone. He has taken the race lead by the time they've gotten to the final corner. Leo, your new race leader. Gamza is defending from Knight in the background. Knight has got the inside line for turn 1. Here we go. Can he brake later, though? The door is still open. The door's still open. A little bit of contact between them. Some networking going on between them. Still nothing there. Unfortunately, Knight unable to make the move stick, while the QSL holds on to that position by the skin of his teeth. This is the closest gap between them right now, though. Knight and Gabza, 0.2 seconds. Very close between them, 0.3 seconds between Linares and Leo as they head into turns 8 and 9. Once again, we're going to be waiting for that main straight, waiting for the action to happen as they head into the chicane at the end of that 1 kilometre long straight, turns 13 and 14. It all depends on the exits here. Here we go, laying down the power from behind. There is no challenge, so to speak of. 0.2 seconds between Linares and the EVR, and it's going to be an easy overtake for him down the main straight. Once again, Linares retakes it on lap 3 of the restart. 0.2 seconds between James and Knight, though. Not too far between these two. There could be potential for a battle here. James trying to fight his way back up into the top 5 because, of course, he was in P4, and then all that chaos happened down at turn 1. He tried making a desperate lunge down to the inside instead of playing it patient, and as a result, he dropped down to P6. He will be running without any damage, however. I saw him hit the wall at some point, so yes, and it's the same for Kart actually in P3. Kart sustained some damage. He actually spun out and hit the wall, not actually too far from here. I think it was turn 5, or the exit of turn 4 where he did it. And oh my goodness, and he does it again! But this time it's turn 9. Is there any damage? If there is, it's minor. If there is, it's minor, but the damage to the race lead here could be catastrophic for Linares. His exit is horrible as Leo takes the race lead, and he'll be a fair distance ahead by the time they even get to the braking zone. And once they get to turn 1, is that potentially going to be the DRS window already gone if the PEC messes up the racing line once again? 0.3 seconds between them. He does have the slipstream, but there's nothing he can do to catch up to the back of the McLaren because that McLaren had the DRS as well. Still within that 1 second time window though, so that'll be fine. That means at least he still has a shot at taking that position once again by the time they get to that straight, as they now head through turn 2 and 3 and then into turns 4 and 5. And look at how close Linares is on the back. He's applying the pressure early on, trying to get a mistake from the McLaren ahead, and Knight just waiting in the wings to take that position as well. He's already gained a position from one of the others. In fact, Knight was the driver who earlier buckled under the pressure and lost loads of positions, but now, no, actually he's the one that capitalized on most of them. Knight's looking to the inside, nothing there. Few cars into the inside, and that's the McLaren wide. Alongside goes the Linares. Also in the background we've got Gabza alongside with the McLaren, and here we go out onto the main straight. It's gonna be moves galore potentially. Here we go, the PC to the inside. He will have that move done and dusted by the time they get to the braking zone. Nothing from the McLaren behind. I'm surprised. Heading through the final corner once more. Lap 5 revisited a second time this evening on the restart. Knight looking for a position into turn 1. Had a look towards the inside. Again, the door just wasn't open there. Gabza also right up on the back of that blue car behind. A quick look at the tyres, as in very quick. Detail, here we go. Most drivers on mediums except for Shanks, Bibbin, Flame, James and Alberto. They are on hards. Brushy Pancakes, Alberto and Cart. Actually, Cart just swapped out for mediums. And Flame has actually left the session. So Flame, that Aston Martin, is actually an AI at this point in time. But there we go. Our little track, our little tyre tyre thingamabob, whatever you want to call it. Tyre graphic, there we go. That's it. Came to me eventually. We made it just in time for the straight once more. The most popular overtaking opportunity on the circuit. 0.3 seconds, 0.2 seconds and closing between Leo and Linares. Linares going defensive, and it is once again the McLaren taking the position. Could we see Knight make a move as well? Nope. In comes Leo, so I guess pit stops are on the board for these drivers as the chaos ensues. Knight now takes the race lead from Linares, who of course had no DRS from that first straight. So Knight takes the race lead with Linares in P2. If you can hold on to this, this could be the third race win of the season for the Alpine-based team. And for Gabza in the QSL, that'll be their third podium of the season. With PEC, a similar scenario, except actually it'll be their fifth podium of the season. Red Flame Joe was really working overtime at the start, wasn't he? And I still have no idea who that person is you're referring to, Adam. I have no idea who he is, but I know who wants P2. Gabza wants it as he goes well, actually, he was going defensive in that left-hander, but obviously that would turn into... No, offensive into the left-hander, defensive into the next corner, sorry. Got a bit confusing. Well, I know Gabza isn't confused about where he wants to go, though. He's got the DRS. Is it going to be 2 positions lost for Knight? Yes, it is. Both cars go flying past him into turn 13. Linares into the pit, and Gabza stays out along with Knight. Where is he? He's not too far behind, but not close enough to challenge into the next corner. And now many of our drivers come into the pit. We've got Linares, Jaren pitting. Bibin with his time penalty will be serving that when he comes into the pits. And now all the chaos begins between these cars and the chaos of the pit stop phase. Where will these drivers come out? I have no clue. Linares right up behind Leo, though. Their battle for potentially the race lead continues down in P6, except that James is 2.5 seconds behind. I was going to say that was a McLaren sandwich. That could have been both McLarens working on the PEC to try and get past them, but no, not really an option, as the race leaders now come out of the penultimate corner, or pre-penultimate corner, I guess, third last corner, out onto the main straight. Will Gabza loses position once more? He's been in a very similar scenario many times tonight as Knight gets past and they continue on. 0.1 seconds between Leo and Linares. They actually swapped positions, I'm guessing on the main straight, and they've both got DRS at the moment. Let's see what's happening. They are right on each other's bumpers. No, that was actually into turn 8 and turn 9. These two continue to fight for the race lead and for P5 now as the next driver pulls into the pits. Leo has got the DRS. Is it a late lunge into turn 1? No. Both keep it nice and clean. Linares has got 7 seconds to make up to Shanks, but of course they also have to pit. The top 5 still need to pit. James now files in behind Leo in terms of standings. Flame in P8, the other Aston Martin, not doing too badly. Again, top 14, that means that every driver here today will score points if they finish. Alberto and Jerem fighting about who gets more points, though. That's the thing. It's not necessarily about, oh yeah, we get points, yeah. I mean, it is good. I mean, when you're talking about the drivers like at HRT, the Ferrari-based team, who retired both of their cars in the first race, yeah, they're not scoring any points. So relatively speaking, yeah, you know, it is a big deal even just getting some points. But it's all relative as well. What's relative, of course, is the time between Leo and Linares. They could be swapping position at any point in the near future. We've seen these two fight hard for the race lead. They are fighting hard for P5 because they know this could turn into the race lead as Knight and Gabza continue onwards. Again, tyre strategy, I'm not sure. I don't know whether these drivers have to make another pit stop, or you know, whether it's ideal to make a pit stop. Most of them have, so I'm assuming it is. I guess it's just that Knight and Gabza just haven't done it yet because they don't think there's quite an advantage to doing so yet. And I keep getting connection issue warnings. Shanks and Ramon, 0.2 seconds between them. The Mercedes up in the top 5. This is something we haven't seen pretty much since the start of the season. is going to be a move actually by Shanks to take a podium position from an Alpine. Well, it looks like it. He doesn't even have the DRS yet, and he's already alongside. Now he has it. He can just scoot on by and take an even bigger gap to the Alpine behind. And there we go. Shanks takes a podium position. We have an FRC car in the top 3. The question is, can he hold on to it as Gabza pits? It seems like it. Again, we'll have to wait for the pit stops. We'll have to wait for him to do his stop. Yeah, again, the chaos reigns. Knight now 10 seconds ahead. He's got that one lap essentially to try and build up a gap between himself and his rivals. Leo and Linares, 2 rivals to keep an eye on. Once again, Linares passed Leo, just waiting for an opportunity. And these guys have been doing very well recently. They've had some good performance. They've just been keeping it really consistent and really fast, which is exactly what you need in a racing driver. Into turn 8. No opportunity there. Turn 10 though, Linares didn't quite have the ideal exit there, just a little variation in line, and there we go. The EVR thinks yes, it might have an opportunity. So did the PC actually. He also came to the inside. Here we go. Out on the third last corner of the circuit, out onto the main straight, and Leo has got the DRS and files past him. And is this going to be a crucial overtake for him? Could Leo then start working on the gap to Ramon? Could he be the one that then clinches that 1 second window? And I'm seeing pit stops everywhere. We've got Knight, Ramon and Shanks all pitting. So Shanks, after he takes P3, of course he had to pit, so yeah, unfortunately he loses that position. At the moment then, it is Leo back up in the race lead. Linares P2, and he's actually dropped outside of that 1 second gap. This is now going to be purely down to pace. Oh my goodness, things have changed around. Linares, yes, that overtake was key indeed, because Linares is now dropping 1.1 seconds between them. If he can't get within a second in the next 2 corners, he won't have DRS out onto that main straight. Could this be the overtake that lets Leo take the second race win for EVR? Could this be a race for him to hold on to that race lead right from the get-go, pretty much? Well, here we go. He's got 1.1 seconds to the car behind. No DRS for the PEC. And that potentially is catastrophic for Linares. We'll have to wait and see whether he can close that gap. But one thing that's very small between these 2 guys is the gap itself. Knight and Gabza swap positions as Knight takes P3 away from Gabza. And these 2 are very well deserving of a podium. Both of them deserve to be on here. They have both been fighting really hard, and their pace tonight has been absolutely incredible. This fight could be gargantuan in itself. Can Knight also catch up to the back of Linares is another question we could be asking, because the gap to Leo is expanding. It's up to 1.5 seconds now as we head into lap 14. We have only about 5 laps remaining, and Linares has lost that DRS window. Knight is gaining on the PEC. This could be crucial for AMS, but then he's got a large gap to make up to the McLaren ahead. And again, penalties roll in. These things start playing roles, and again, Eric de Peric. Right, 1.7 second gap between Linares and Leo, but only half a second between Knight and Linares. Gabza also half a second. James also half a second. James doing really well just to stay consistent, get those laps in to catch up to the back of the grid. Here we go, Knight going down the inside for this first corner, but it's going to be the outside for the next one. He doesn't need to worry about it though. He has taken P2 away from Linares, and Linares seems to be struggling without any DRS. Can Knight close the gap to Leo now? Can he start building a gap above Linares? Can he start closing the gap to Leo ahead? Can he start closing that gap to the race leader? He's closed the gap to Linares very quickly within about 2 laps. Can he do the same? Again, all hypothetical questions that will be answered later on. It does seem as though he is faster though. Already a little bit of time gained on the McLaren ahead, but Gabza is looking for his opportunity to take the final podium position once more. And James again also just waiting in the wings, waiting for a mistake. Is going to stay patient. All will be answered in time. The Haas right up behind that Sauber now as they head out onto the main straight. 1 kilometer to make a difference yet again. The white and red car going on the outside, and there is nothing that Sauber can do to defend it. Even though he goes to the inside, the DRS speed is just too much. There's just nothing he can do about it. So our race leaders then, Leo in the race lead with Knight in P2 and Gabs at P3. Linares has fallen down to P4 after losing the DRS window to Leo. He was outside that 1 second gap, and that's what cost him the race win potentially. Now again, there is so much that could happen into the final 3 laps of the race. Again, you can't bank on that kind of stuff. You have to just take it as it comes, and if it comes, yes, it's great. It means it's a gift, it's a present, but again, present, that's now, not in the future. You can't bank on that. You can't bank on a mistake from a driver ahead, and that's what James is in right now. He's banking on a mistake from both Gabza and Linares so that he can take a podium position. A double podium for EVR would be absolutely awesome for them right now, but there is a caution in Sector 2, and that seems to be the other Aston Martin. Both Aston Martins have now essentially retired, and there's a safety car in the final remaining 4 laps of the race as Alex comes into the pits now. Oh my goodness, so safety car suddenly pulls in. Wow, okay, that was very unexpected. So the 2 Aston Martins essentially gone. Well, there's one there, but that's not the one I'm talking about. I'm talking about the cars. XPG Flame is an AI though. You can see he's ghosted. It's an AI, so he is actually not driving this. This isn't actually him. This is an AI taking control of the car. So yeah, at the end of the day, XPG unable to score any points in essence, because if this AI takes any positions, you can see a couple cars coming into the pits now. Antonio Jesus' car to Bibbin. They're all banking on probably that soft tyre and the extra performance to be had from that in the closing stages of this race. They are banking on the safety car coming in real early so that they can get the racing back underway for that final race restart. Essentially, this is our 3rd race restart of the evening, or 2nd. There we go, safety car in this lap, so this guy is behind. We've got to catch up to this group here, but when they do, they've got the superior tyre. Is that the strategy to go for? Knight and Gabza and James not quite playing that risk. Leo took that risk though. Leo pitted from the race lead. Is this going to cost him? Knight took the race lead. Gabza in P2, James P3, and Leo P5 with Linares right behind him. And again, we saw those 2 very closely matched when they had the DRS. But now, into the final 3 laps of the race, they'll have that DRS to start with. Everyone will. Here we go, we're waiting for the race start, we're waiting for Knight to get the racing going, and it is go time. 13 cars go rolling down to turn 1 to start. 2 more laps of race in the final 2 laps. We've got a McLaren down the inside. Leo making some good progress past Shanks right off the bat. Alex left behind as they now file through turn 2. Many drivers have got a 3-second time penalty. Shanks having to go on the defensive from the PEC, and he's made that position already. Alex making some good progress. James pulls out the way for Leo. Leo gains about 3 positions in the first 5 corners of this race. He has made some great progress and some good teamwork from both of them. Now he's got to work on Gabza. Is this P2 for him into turn 8? He'll be looking into the hairpin potentially, putting him under pressure. Is this a masterpiece of a play by EVR to get a race win? He's down the inside now into the hairpin. Yes, he is. Beautiful move from the McLaren textbook, and now there is a note, safety car not out, because yeah, that's still a notification left over from before. But Leo in 1 lap has gone from P6 to P2. Can he take the race lead into the final corner? Well, he's got 1 final lap here to go. He's on a superior tyre to Knight. Knight also still on a soft, but I think they might be different tyre ages. Final lap of the race, here we go, and I am on the edge of my seat. I cannot wait to see how this all plays out. Knight under immense pressure from Leo. Gabza under immense pressure from Alex. James also waiting in the wings. Shanks looking to get into the top 5, and there's the move from Leo through the left and right hander, and he's made it stick. And a 3 wide in the background between Knight, Linares and Gabza, and there's chaos back there, but Leo slips past and he's now into the race lead. Linares makes use of all the chaos to take P2 and Knight maintains P3. Gabza caught off guard, and what a move from Leo. What a masterpiece. What a master plan from the EVR team to get their one driver up into the race lead in 2 laps. And in the background, Gabza makes the move for the final podium position. There's nothing Knight can do to fight that. James will also be coming past on the main straight, but out onto the final corner. It is once again Leo and Linares fighting for the race lead. Linares pulls the inside. Leo can't do anything out into the main straight, into the final corner as they go through the chicane. The Wall of Champions. Who will come across the line first? It's going to be a photo finish potentially across the line, and it is Linares. Oh my goodness, it comes across the line first, but all the penalties come in now. And I have no clue who's finished. Knight wins the race. Wow. Wow, what a finishing lap. That was insane. My voice couldn't go high enough. And the 7th race of the season wraps up. It's been a rough day. It's been incredibly kinetic. Knight takes the race win at the last opportunity. Gabza in P2 with James taking P3 for EVR. What a master play by McLaren though in the EVR squad to get Leo up into those top positions. But then at the end of the day, it just wasn't enough. But join us next week for another action-packed race for round 8. Same time next week, 7 PM GMT. And we'll see you all there. Good night.